Ahoy hoy! Welcome back to my channel. And if this is your first time at my channel, I welcome you. So since we're in the month of October, and this is, as I call it, Halloween month, even though Halloween isn't until the 31st, I figured today that we can talk about the legend of the Goatman from Maryland. Now apparently, there are legends of a Goatman in other states. And not to mention, there's always been some sort of legend involving a half goat, half human being that spans at least since ancient Greece. Maybe even farther than that. But for today, we're mostly going to focus on the legend from Maryland. So, the central story behind the one from Maryland is that it's a scientist that worked at the Beltsville Agriculture Research Center, and he was doing an experiment on goats. The experiment backfired, and it transformed him into a part goat, part human being. His head and his hindquarters are those of a goat, and the rest of him is made like a human. And supposedly after this happened, he became deranged because he was wielding an axe and attacking people in cars and attacking animals. Yet for some odd reason, he never went after pedestrians, which is weird. Excuse me. My asthma is acting up a little bit today. I apologize. So, we have that. And then the other story is that this goat man is an old hermit who lives in the woods alone, obviously, since he's a hermit. And he's seen walking alone at night along Fletchertown Road, which is in Prince George's County, I think. But I've heard variations of it, though, of the goat man. But before I get into that, according to the University of Maryland folklorist Barry Pearson, the legend of the Goatman originated a long time ago, and it became popularized further in 1971 when there was a dog found in Maryland dead. He was decapitated, and they didn't find the rest of his body. And people thought that, oh, it was the goat man who did it. He's the one that killed the dog and stuff. And so this legend is around Bowie too, but it's mostly, for me, it's always been around places that are heavily forested or, have a lot of land to them. Like the reason why Fletchertown Road, and there was this other road they talked about. What was it? Excuse me, and I need to get my glasses. I'm so sorry, but I can't see anything if I don't wear them. They said it was at another road. Which one was it? Let's see. Fletchertown Road was one of them, and the other one was where? I'm so sorry. That's Ford Road, and they're both in Prince George's County, which is where I was born and raised in. So, so these two roads used to be very long, dark, winding, going through barely anything. And of course, over time, since the 70s, there's been a lot of development there. So they're not quite spooky like they used to be. But then again, there's some other roads in Maryland that are just as creepy where people believe the Goatman is, also because these areas like Fletchertown Road and stuff became so popular that he moved base and stuff. Because these roads were once isolating, I think that's where he would want to hit if he was still alive. Because here's the reality. Even though this legend's been happening for a long time and it got popularized in the 70s, he would be like in his 60s, 70s, maybe older now. He'd be like walking with a cane or something. Um, and yeah, it's almost like Bigfoot in a way. If Bigfoot was real, he was first seen in the 70s, and if he wouldn't be the same, he would be a little bit older. He'd be walking harder now than he was. But anywho, I'm not going to go into Bigfoot. I'm going to focus on the Goatman. So, this legend is so major in Maryland, especially in Prince George's County, that the USDA, which is the United States Department of Agriculture, all the way up to the federal level, had to deny these claims because they were so rampant and people were believing them and stuff. And of course, they've denied it, and hence the Beltsville Agricultural Research Center has denied this and said it's never happened. There's no such thing as a scientist that got mutated into a goat from this experiment. And even if he did, he would be very old right now. He wouldn't be much of a threat unless his great-grandson is doing his work now. And so, and the funny thing is, even though I believe, the legend is kind of fun in itself, I never actually saw anything. Even though there are people in Maryland as well as in Prince George's County, and even where I'm from in Prince George's County, which is Bowie, people, teenagers mostly, still try to find the Goatman all this time. They're still, and there's places that they're looking at that are not central to the major folklore of the legend. For example, one of the places that people look for the Goatman at is Crybaby Bridge or Governor's Bridge. Now, that's one of the bridges near where I used to live that has a reputation for being haunted in the first place because some woman threw her baby in the river that she didn't want. Another legend is there was a car crash around Christmas Eve, and as the car was going over, there was a baby crying. And then someone was brutally murdered there in between the 60s and 80s. So that place is already have the reputation for being haunted anyway, and people think, oh, well, maybe the Goatman will be here too. Now, here's the thing. Governor's Bridge right now is currently closed because the bridge is over 100 years old, and they're trying to renovate it, and it's taking time to renovate it because they need funds for it. So right now, you can't go on the bridge because it's closed. You can try to go near the bridge, but you can't actually go on the bridge. And another place where the Goatman has been sighted is on Woodyard Road, which is also in Prince George's County, partially in Prince George's County. Now, this story that I heard from a former coworker of mine said that there was a car on that road one night, actually, near midnight. I forget what they were doing. I don't know if they pulled over to make out or something happened to the tire, but the guy was out of the car, and his girlfriend or wife was still in the car, and she hears this sound. And she gets out of the car and finds that her husband's been decapitated. And on the car, there's these 5 sharp indentations, like someone had literally lopped off the guy's head with their own fingernails on their own hand. And she claims that the police went down there, investigated it, and were a little bit disturbed by it. And now, I don't know if this is true. Someone who works in Prince George's County, either in fire, police, or paramedics, can maybe vouch for this. But supposedly she told me that no one from the fire department or the police department or EMS will go down that road after midnight because they're terrified of what to find there. I don't know if this is true, but if someone can verify this for me, that would be great. I don't know if this is because of the Goatman legend or because of something else that happened down there. But also, that's another road that's been known to be haunted as well, especially, and again, this is from the same person. She claims she went to this orphanage that used to be for Germans, and if you park near it, and again, it's at night, you can just start seeing eyes and stuff from the forest. And I don't know about that because, like, the thing is, I've been there before, not at night, but during the day for this event that used to be at my mom's old job. And I never felt anything off because here's the thing, I'm an empath. I can pick up on things like that. And I think I mentioned that before in other paranormal videos that I can sense spirit activity. And I didn't feel anything at the time, but then again, that was a few years before I discovered I was even an empath. But then again, I've been sensing that kind of stuff since I was young anyway, so even if I didn't know I was an empath at the time, I would have still been able to feel something was off, and I didn't have those feelings. That is, unless it takes a different feeling at night or during a certain time of the year. And I noticed some places are actually like that, where you won't feel anything in it during some times of the year, but then during a certain time you start feeling something is off. So it could be a seasonal thing, or it could be like a nighttime versus daytime thing. So whether that whole entire thing with the Woodyard Road is true, I don't know. That's one source that someone's told me. Now, I was introduced to the Goatman legend when I was about 9-10 years old. I was at least in junior Girl Scouts because this was on a Girl Scout trip. We were going down to Camp Merrick, which is, I love this camp in Maryland. It is so awesome. It's not in Prince George's County, though. I don't think it's in Prince George's County. No, it's too long to be in Prince George's County. But anyway, we went to Camp Merrick for a camping trip with my Girl Scout troop. And in the car on the way down, one of these older girls was telling me the story of the Goatman. And this is my first time being introduced to the Goatman. And she said, oh, it's this half goat, half human entity that attacks people in the middle of the night when they're going to the bathroom. And if he gets you, he'll kill you. He'll use your head or your face as a bowl, and he'll use your neck as a cup. And basically, he was cannibalistic, I gathered. And I think the older girls said this to keep the younger girls in check. So you would sleep and you wouldn't mess around at night and stuff. So the version I heard, other than him being cannibalistic and all this other stuff and attacking campers in the middle of the night when they're going to the bathroom, lived alone in the woods. So the variation I heard initially was not the one from Beltsville. So, yeah. And obviously it's a legend. It's an urban legend. And like I said, I had never seen any indication that there is a Goatman existing. I think this is just a legend or a modern day legend from something that originated all the way back in, ancient Greece with the satyrs, or what the hell they're called. Like the half goat, half human beings. And they were known to be lustful and drunken and a bit mischievous. So I think it's just a variation of that. And I don't know how the other variations of Goatman legends from other states are. I just know how the ones are from Maryland. So, if you like this video, hit like. If you subscribe, I'll be absolutely filled with joy. And I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.